Just very comfortable. I might be too comfortable.
Every 10 minutes or so, I look over the cameras just to make sure the red lights are still on, so I don't want to distract you. I'm still present. I just warn all my guests.
Oh, I totally get it. I do the same thing. I determine because when you're doing it by yourself, you have to be here. You know what I'm saying? Oh man, I wish I had some eye things because then I could just. Your podcast is all about putting your guests to sleep. That'd be great. You just start going, and then you ever do one of those guided meditations on YouTube, for sleeping or whatever? They're so good. Oh, you should have warned me. That was a loud pop.
Oh, I'm
dude.
sorry. That's annoying.
Okay, there we go. Oh, it's only on one side of the headphones.
So hot right now.
Yeah, that's what happens to me too when you're getting on.
I know.
It's a nightmare. It's worth because at first you want to get an engineer to help you, right? And then you don't want to pay, but then when all this shit is going on, you start to think to yourself, "Oh, I see what you're paying for. You're paying for so I could just go, we're ready, ready, started."
Blabbity blue, scoop dee. Oh yeah.
Okay, so you got shit chords, and so you have to put them
I got a shit cord. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like the bunny rabbit ears on the old school TVs.
Yeah, it's an expensive cord.
Man. Is it?
It is. I know. It really is. It might be the adapter.
I think it's the adapter. This is terrible.
You know what? Why don't we just do this another day? I can feel the water's not coming down yet. But the chill came. Where it's like my body.
There it is. Whatever you just did, leave it. Now it's ready to go. So back away from it. So don't touch it.
All right.
You know what I can't. The thing I can't stand is when you're ready, you think you're ready, you're all set up. The person comes, and then that's when the Gremlins start messing with shit.
Yeah, the camera just, and then I stand up and the wire isn't in place. I'm so hot right now.
I feel like the Gremlins come down like the SWAT. They're like, like a little zip line and and then it's messes up your podcast. But I get it.
If I had a budget, I'm getting that animated for sure. Just with your little face on it.
That's the things you want to do.
Yeah.
So you don't want to get a good chord, but you want to animate.
The chord is without
priorities, Rick.
With a good chord, we don't get the gremlin joke.
Oh God! Oh, there it is. No, it's back. It's back.
Okay.
You have to do that.
Something's going on.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez. The thing is, it's working fine.
It's working. It's just annoying to us, right?
Yeah. Which really, that's oh, it only hurts me.
Yeah.
Well,
it's a part of but it's part of your podcast experience.
Yeah. Well, since this intro is shit,
what if you actually had a dude in the other room that's actually messing with the?
You can come. Yeah. You got Glassman Bobs. Also,
you got Glassman.
Okay. So. You got a singing mic on yours. You start yours up and you go woo 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 woo.
Yeah.
So I think for the intro for this one, I might just cut to the intro for yours.
Woo 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 woo. People love the woo woo.
I watch.
Would you like to get on the singing mic, Rick?
All right. Yeah. We on the Riffin With Griffin. It's different dripping and riffing, but never stop at the bissing and never stop what you missing. You gotta push it and coming and cricket grumping and growing, but never stopping it. Go when you flowing, Riffin With Griffin.
Okay, I did not expect that. Cause we're Riffin With Griffin. But what we should have done is we actually recorded the intro for this.
Yeah, I know. Next time I come to yours, I might just want to record a stock intro for whatever. We have our intro for both. We just do it. We should if we do a crossover episode, do it to where the intro for yours, it's you coming into my place, we sitting down. Who gives a shit?
No, I like it.
It's too much math for me right now.
Yeah, see, when you don't let bits follow through, there's a problem. You got to let the bit. You got to continue that bit.
Oh, I got to continue that. Why don't we? Says the guy who stops me.
Continue that bit, Rick. I've learned my lesson.
Because enough people have commented on how much you hated my jokes. And we'll cut to a clip. Could you play that again?
Oh, no.
I'm gonna come in. I'm gonna come in as your.
Please don't.
I'm gonna come in as your dad. All right.
And we're doing the intro again because.
What are you doing, Eric? Turn this music down, Eric.
So let me get this straight. You came prepared with a mustache.
Truth be told, I always have a mustache. And we're back.
Actually, I'm going to come in as your dad. Hold on.
You leave, you shave your mustache?
Yeah, it's like, what are you doing? I really go, this is why I don't do bits, because I go really into it.
I want to set that up. If you haven't seen Eric's podcast, Riffin With Griffin, it's so good. Dax Shepard's Armchair Expert and your podcast are the only two podcasts I really listen to.
Oh, I really appreciate that.
And the clip that you just mentioned, I want to put up on the YouTube version of. I just happen to have I have mustaches on me. I didn't come prepared for you.
Yeah, I remember that from New York.
Yeah.
Then that's why on the podcast I realized that I was like, oh, that's right, yeah. So then I caught myself being like, oh, okay, you can't be too mad at this because this is what he does.
You caught yourself a little late because you were mad at me up until now.
Yeah, but that's just our relationship. It's part of the bit, man. Let the bit go.
All right. Okay. I love bits.
But I just think the first 5 to 10 minutes of that podcast, that's one of my favorites I've done. Mm-hmm. Just like, but that's the best part about doing podcasts is like, you have these interactions with your friends, because I'm getting some people that are asking me to like come on the podcast now that I don't really know them. And I'm starting to think to myself, I don't know if I want those people coming to my place.
I've thought about that.
You know what I mean?
You mean not because it's your podcast, but it's your house.
It's my place. I don't know them.
That's why I don't want somebody helping me.
I agree. Rick, I am 100 with you on that, because I get resumes in the mail.
I don't want some little guy.
Yeah.
Anybody who's sending me a resume,
right.
You got dirty fingers. You know?
Yeah, you got bad priorities. Like, I don't know what you learned in college, but it's like
you're gonna come in, you're gonna touch my cameras.
Yeah. I'm with you. But at this point now, though, it's come to a point where I kind of like. I feel like if I had someone help me, then I could do more. Because when I first started doing like the video at my place, I only have one camera, but I still, I do 4K, so then you could zoom in. I was like, oh, let me go back and forth. But that became like, oh, this is a lot. But if I had somebody helping me, then it wouldn't be a lot. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I don't know.
I just know that if I had somebody over here, every time he touched something, I'd be like, I got it. Don't just wait outside, And then
your intern's just in the hallway.
Yeah, and then nobody's gonna go in my bedroom. It's like don't sit on. Just you know what? I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna spend way too much time doing this.
Yeah. I totally agree with you, but it is what it is, man.
Yeah. So I haven't even started the sipping on this coffee yet. I should have done it 20 minutes before you got here.
Oh, so you're not like.
I think you know what? Until this kicks in, we're just gonna cut to your podcast.
But we should do a crossover episode. But we got to do a crossover episode like they do on the CW. So it's like, your Arrow, and then my show Supergirl, and the story starts on one and then it continues on the other. You know what I mean? And you have to watch one without the other. But we can still make it weird.
I got a good way of doing it. A good way of doing it. I'm picturing more of like the crossovers when like the Family Matters and the Full House crossover.
That's what I mean.
Well, it's a little smaller because in that the two worlds exist. So what I would think I'd like to do is when I have another guest on, you maybe come in, like you literally walk in, like, what do you? Oh, I think I left my watch, whatever. And then you leave, and then when you have a guest, I'll just pop on, and I'm like, I got your watch.
God, that'd be so bizarre.
But treat it like it's at the same time. Like I got my watch. I got so and so over my place now. As if it's lifetime.
It's like, why'd you change clothes?
No, you have to wear the same clothes. You have to do it right. Commit to the bit.
That's how you do it. I just pictured that you have like a suitcase, like from planes, trains.
That yellow thing is all mustaches.
Oh, is it? Oh, that's what I think you have. And then before you go on stage, you go, let me see what I'm thinking today.
And it's not even like I'm using everything. Right. It's just the mood I'm in by stash.
Yeah. So you got all these like, let's see what we're feeling today.
I had Taron Killen as a guest on here, and he is a Saturday Night Live alum, so he knows about mustaches. Okay. And I was telling him about how expensive these mustaches are. They're $5 a piece. So when I went to Caroline's to feature for you, that was $25 in mustaches for the weekend. You know what I mean? And he told me about this. It's so obvious. I didn't think about it. They just have double-sided sticky tape, but it's meant for like that kind of stuff for skin.
Yeah.
And now I'm using that mustache 25 times.
So you would just use a mustache and then throw it away?
Like if I was famous, I could have sold the mustache after the show.
You're not even giving them to the crowd. You're not even like
mustache.
Just throwing mustaches out like like baseballs.
You get a mustache. You get a mustache.
You could have like stapled them on a piece of paper, like a ticket to the show, and been like, thanks for coming out to see the Rick Glassman mustache.
Well, let's
show.
see if there's a market for that. If you guys are interested in my used mustaches, leave some comments below. And I mean, I could sell them on my site. How much? It cost me $5. I guess I'd sell them for $5.
Yeah, well, you got to think shipping in hand. Well, you could put them. Actually, you could put the mustaches in a regular envelope.
Yeah, I'll sell them for $5.34 or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Plus the envelope, $5.54.
Shipping, handling, and for another $5, you get a second mustache.
Yeah, which you don't have to pay the $34 for it because I could put them both in the.
Exactly.
Yeah, and if it's a mustache that's gray, I could sign it, I guess, but it would just look dirty.
No, you would just. I say you put it on like a stationery,
a plaque.
Yeah, you put the mustache on, and you write a little personal note.
Yeah,
and then you draw the glasses.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And the headphones. And then you put the mustache.
You know the glasses and the headphones is the silhouette.
Yeah.
Yeah, and some type of pun like, you must ask everybody to take a picture of this with you or whatever.
Yeah, must ask you a question. Yeah, that's all that stupid mustache puns.
You get a lot of bullshit because if you look like a potato head. And you look like a potato head, and you also look like the glasses, and you were talking about on your podcast that everybody calls you out for that as if you've never heard it before.
Yeah, it's the absolute... It's so stupid. And then they're in the comments. They think they're so... The thing I can't stand is I actually don't mind any kind of joke, snap, whatever it's going to be. If I read it and it makes me laugh, or if I read it and it makes me go, oh, okay, that you got me with this one. Mm-hmm. But when it's not that, and it's just I think those glasses and mustache come off like the what you call it. I'm like, really? You worthless piece of shit. Put some effort into that joke.
I want to sell a T-shirt. We're gonna do a limited run T-shirt for a week of a picture of you as Mr. Potato Head. And I want to quote whatever you just said. What is it? What is the bad version that they stumbled over? You got the glasses like the potato guy.
like you Groucho Marx glasses.
Dude, podcasting is like with stand-ups. Stand-up, sometimes I'm like, I feel so, I got to get up on stage right now.
Right.
And then sometimes I'm about to go up on stage and it's like, I don't.
Yeah,
you know? Yeah. But at least in LA, it's 15 minutes, and on a weekend, you're getting paid and it's work.
Yeah.
But this, sometimes when you're not in the mood to do it, you ever feel that way?
Bro, do I ever feel that way? Man, it's all this crap. You know what I mean? And I'm in a better setup than you because I got the shit already set up. You know,
you just leave it in its own room.
I just leave it in its own room.
Yeah, I gotta live in this room.
You got
I got people.
And you're so anal that it's probably killing you.
Well,
you probably could leave the lights.
I leave the lights. That's the only thing that stays. I
was going to say, you could leave the lights, but you're just like, I can't have this microphone just here.
No, I'm watching America's Got Talent, missing the guys holding each other up with the abs.
Yeah, I guess. So I do feel sometimes, then I'm about to go film a movie, so I'm banking up all these episodes. And so it's just, actually I've gotten to a groove. Actually, ever since you came over and you were showing me that
syncing?
That one syncing thing has cut down the time that I'm wasting editing, to a point where I was like, every time I do it, literally every time I do it, I go, what the hell was I thinking?
It's funny when you the connection you make to something, you'll probably always think that. I when I take a poop in a public bathroom, I put toilet paper down.
Right.
And
you didn't realize that there was a thing?
No, I don't trust those things.
What do you mean you don't trust them?
You can't double fold them. They're too thin.
Get two of them.
Yeah, I've just made my mind up. So I do toilet paper and I fold it. And I told a friend of mine, this was 15 years ago, shout out to Jeff Karp, that I double fold, meaning I do two plies.
Yeah.
And he goes, you fold or you double fold? And I realized, oh, I guess I just fold. And since then, I double fold. So there's 4 layers. And I think of him. I literally think of my friend Jeff every time I take a shit in a public bathroom.
I can't. I don't. I'm not. I'm
You
always.
strike me as you just sit down on the toilet kind of guy. And I mean that in the most insulting way.
Yeah, you die. Oh, I know. Oh, did you think I took that as a compliment? No, I used the thing. Mm-hmm. You know, you just don't believe me. Now you're gonna follow me, and then it's gonna be like a camera's gonna sneak over the stall. I'm at LAX, like Rick, is that you?
Picture you in a bathroom, and you're about to sit down, but before you do, you look to your right, you look to your left, and then you don't put the thing on.
No, I.
Do you ever sit bare on it?
If it's an emergency.
If it's an emergency, I'm shitting my pants before I'm sitting there on that thing. Also, here's my thoughts. The amount of respect that we give toilet paper when it's convenient, okay? This is a toilet with poop and pee and gross people, and I think this little piece of paper towel is going to protect me. That's nothing.
But I bring booty wipes with me everywhere I go.
You got them right now?
No, I have them in a bag when I go on travel. I have it in my travel bag. I don't have it like you know. I got to go shit, Rick, and then I pull out my booty wipes.
That's for your butthole, though, not for the seat.
Yeah, you're right. But I wipe the seat down. You know what I mean? I do a whole thing sometimes. That's why I think you should have like I want a little thing of like Clorox, or not Clorox, but like, you know, like some kind of cleaner.
They have Clorox wipes.
That's what I'm saying. You can get some Clorox wipes, and you just, you know.
I forgot, actually. I give this to all my guests. Give me 1 sec.
Oh God, why do you do this? Your brain is just always going in edit mode.
What's that?
Your brain needs to stop going in edit mode all the time.
My uncle, no joke, for no reason. I've never used.
That's the ones I use. I love these. Are you kidding me? These are great. Yeah, I'll take them all. Thanks, Rick, for giving me all of these.
No, what we're gonna do is
These are the ones I use, but they have actually a smaller version, a more travel version. But I have one of these in my suitcase.
A more smaller meaning less of them, not a smaller wipe.
Yeah, less of them. Yeah.
So,
okay. Am I holding this the whole?
Please, I'll put the link up on YouTube. Eric and I are gonna sign one of those, and we're gonna put it on eBay.
Yeah, but one that's already used.
Well, yeah, I'm not gonna. Oh. They were so stacked so nice.
I know, that's killing you right now, right? Well, how long can you? I want to know, how long can you sit next to that mess?
For the rest of the episode.
Okay, let's see.
But first, we're going to cut to our sponsor.
Is that really a sponsor?
We'll see. I'll send it to Cottonelle Flush Wipe, flushable wipes. When, I'm going to move these. I don't want these here.
I know. That's what I'm saying. So Rick lasted all of 45 seconds before he had to move those. That's the kind of like OCD situation he has going on. That he could not sit next to that mess for more than 45 seconds. Wow.
There isn't anything that I do that lasts more than 45 seconds. And that includes this.
Edit.
this podcast.
Edit. Cut you. Now you jump cut to you like having bad sex. Yeah. Not even finishing a full shit and you still get up.
Funny stuff. Now, Eric, you started doing stand-up when you were how old?
Oh, God. You know how you can't have a mess near you for more than 45 seconds? Mm-hmm. I can't do bits for more than...
Your shows must suck. How's everybody doing tonight? You do one killer joke, I'm done. No, I'm just going to complain for 50 minutes.
That's what I do.
I know.
That's what I do. It works for me.
You're the funniest complainer in the game, man.
Yeah, nobody complains better than me.
Yeah.
I wish they would complain.
That wasn't even a complaint, but I get what you were doing.
No, I'd like to be... sometimes I feel like, can I find positive ways to be funny?
You are positive and funny when you're accepting.
Yeah.
Like when instead of squashing a bit, and we'll cut to your YouTube comments on the episode with you and me. Oh, by the way, they're all your fans, not mine. And they're all yelling at you and like, let Rick do the bit.
No, it's not. That's not even. No, you're wrong, actually. Those are all Tiger Belly fans.
They're yours now. They came to you.
Yeah, I know, but it's a incestual relationship that we all have.
Whatever, man. Dude, I spent I put in about 50 hours last week in editing.
Jeez, I can imagine.
It takes me so long.
Yeah, but that's just your thing, though. You don't have to do that, but you just want to do that.
I think,
but that's like 60 gigs each. You know, how do you wow? It must be a monster.
I have 3 external hard drives at 28 terabytes.
28 terabytes each.
28 total.
Oh, I got to get some more. I got same thing. I didn't even realize. You think terabytes are like oh, I got 8 terabytes. That's gonna be. Then this thing is like, and then Final Cut Pro. What it does is it makes a backup of the file too, of your whole file, and which I didn't know that it did that. So then I have
And we're edit here. Go on. You can keep talking. I'll listen, but we'll come back in when you're done with this bullshit. Like anyone wants to hear about the Final Cut backup.
Oh my god! Wow. Okay.
And we're back. That was funny stuff, Eric.
That is the worst. Okay, you see how it is?
Yeah.
My technology is like your fucking your bits.
You know how I know you agree because you were triggered by it.
Yeah.
You realize
I'm triggered. Yeah. I'm like I'm feeling something right now.
Whenever I
edit. That's what I do anytime I don't want to do anything. I just go and edit that out. Oh my god. Edit.
That was good. You know what sucks is whenever I smile, it comes off. It's almost like when I break, so does the mustache.
Yeah, why is all the mustache glue is just all
because I'm not using fresh glue for this.
Oh, okay. So I don't even get the fresh glue for this podcast.
Not with that attitude.
What does it take to get fresh glue on this podcast? Oh, wait.
I don't want to get it now. Pardon me, but I'm sweating already. I don't want to get up and get more.
Rick's already got up 4 times for edits.
Yeah, for the people who aren't watching the video, they're just like, what the fuck?
What are they
doing?
Shit? Oh, that's true.
So I actually want to give a shout out to Sean Skellington.
Oh, yeah, Sean.
At Necro Electronic Podcast. Mm-hmm. Well, I wanted to give a shout out because he sent me a message. I get messages on Instagram, like you said you do too, about people like, hey, I want to help. And it's like, no.
Yeah, I know.
You know?
Yeah, I know.
And then you look at their profile and they got like, they're
help
following
yourself.
2,000 people and they have 8. Yeah, it's like, help yourself. Like their picture's an egg, you know, the
like,
avatar.
What's going on?
You know?
Yeah. All your graphics.
Yeah.
Cut to. And here it is. And we push it away.
I was, and even though you didn't put up, because I did those. If you don't watch, I did that on Eric's. He's calling it back. And even though you didn't put anything up, it still played.
Yeah, I know, but that was the whole point of it. But I did put the one mustache picture up.
I know. Yeah, I sent you a couple. Hey, will you just maybe when we mentioned the mustache, I got a good picture of me with a good glue. Yeah. With a good glue.
Yeah. That was a good glue picture.
So he sends me a message, and he, instead of just saying, "Hey, I want to help out," he built a template.
Yeah, I know. He just
site.
Yeah.
That wasn't like the site that he ended up building. It was just like, just so you know, this is something I could do. He didn't even know if I was going to respond.
Yeah.
And I was just so impressed. And I showed it to my dad. He's like, Jesus Christ, you know.
I know.
So and that just got my attention. So then I asked for his help, and he built me a site, and I gave him so many notes. You know, I mean, I was so annoying about it. But
of course you were.
I wanted a certain.
Wait. You don't have to say that.
Thank you so much. That's actually really sweet.
Yeah, you Glassman it.
And they weren't even they weren't notes like his creative decisions were wrong. They were all subjective things. Can we make it this color and move this here and add this and all these things? And after about 2 days of notes, and I mean that cumulatively in 2 days, he was so nice the way he worded it to me. He said, I've built probably 30 sites, and I love building yours. Like yours, nobody is like you.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, I realized, oh, you mean everybody just said thanks? He's like, yeah, you kind of like it's like designing a video game.
Yeah.
But anyway.
No, he's a great dude. But I have a couple people more than just him that have done the same thing, like with shirts and things like that.
Yeah.
So there's one guy so he has shirt ideas, and then this other guy has, and I'm just kind of like trying to decide which one I like better. You know what I mean?
So yeah, he also helped out with shirts. Also, we'll cut to check out our merch here, and we're back. And I've also had people send in some artwork. I'll put it up here.
We're back. Oh, I see what you mean. When you laugh, it comes up. Rick! It's your father, Rick. Okay, we're done. All right. Oh, wow.
You can have that.
Exactly. You have to
We'll be selling this with Eric's mustache hair. Yeah, so dude, podcasting sometimes it's like, when you do a set, you know what you're doing. Also, it's different. But here, podcasts, like they're not. The whole thing is not hysterical. They're waves, and they don't even need to be. You need to sit in a pocket.
But see, that's weird that you think that it has to be hysterical.
Logically, I know that it doesn't now, but I still get these moments where it's like, if I'm putting something out there, like my instincts originally for this were to record for an hour and a half or whatever, and just basically what comedians in cars getting coffee is just cut it down, just keep the fucking fire, and have like 10 minutes. But that's not what podcasts are.
Yeah.
But to me, if I'm putting something out there, I just want to show the good stuff.
Yeah.
Not that this is bad necessarily, but like, I want to show the stuff.
And edit. And then we'll cut to. So thanks, Rick, for that great talk you just had.
Man, you were triggered by that, huh?
It's really interesting to hear about that. Let's talk about it.
look how triggered you are. Like a little boy, your posture is good.
But I get it. No, I think that. But see, what you're talking about right now is like I get these emails, and then people like the things that they appreciate, like particularly like, for instance, that episode with you in it. The things people are saying to me by email and messages, I'm like, oh, I didn't even know that they got that out of the episode.
Like what?
Like just being like how you were talking about having autism and like how we were dealing with it. Just even like our friendship and like people get like
autism.
People were like very much like they. What I'm realizing is the reason why people watch podcasts are not the same reasons as why people go to a comedy show or listen to comedy albums or listen to comedy specials. It's not the same reasoning, They're using it for their work. They just want to hear like mindless conversations sometimes, or they're into the topic that you're talking about or whatever it is.
Yeah. I just know, especially most of my guests are people that I know how funny they are. And also I have a funny rapport with them. And I just like... When we're in New York together and we're going to get pizza at 2 a.m. and just the bits that we're doing there. And it's just like, oh, that would be so cool to get on the podcast. But you can't force that by definition.
I mean, you do.
Whenever I become aware that I am doing that, I get disgusted with myself.
Oh, you get disgusted?
Yes, sir.
That's hilarious.
I understand. I understand the burn.
Right now, cut to you like you're crying in your living, in the kitchen or whatever. I can't believe I hate myself. You just beat yourself with a like.
But no, I don't treat myself that way.
Oh God.
Because I don't have many friends, I have to be my best.
Oh Jesus, Rick.
No, I'm just joking. I have some friends.
No, but it's like I don't know. I actually know exactly what you're talking about. It's like when I do solo episodes at first, and I find myself like I'm just talking about a serious subject or whatever's in the news, for instance. It could be whatever it is. And I'm just giving my take on it. And I'm thinking to myself, oh man, this isn't like how I do jokes on stage. Like, why am I doing it this way? But then people still respond. They go, oh, I loved your take on this and that and that. So I just have realized in my head that this is a different medium and and it's going to sometimes be funny. But for the most part, that's not why people are watching. Because if they're watching at work, you don't want somebody, they don't want to be at their desk and they're not even supposed to be listening to this. And they're all like, you know what I mean? What is that? Is this a new bit?
When I'm going to go, it should sometimes be funny, and then I'm going to cut to my reaction shot of that. Man, this is going to take me 4 weeks to edit.
Yeah, exactly.
I know. What am I doing?
Yeah, what are you doing? Just sit here and talk.
But see, even with stand-up, I don't know how I'm received. When I just know I am what I feel. So sometimes I'm hilarious, and the audience doesn't know. And sometimes I'm not funny, and the audience thinks I was. So... I don't know what people are thinking. So when I'm sitting here, if I'm thinking, I know everybody else is. Whether I'm right or wrong, it doesn't matter. I'll never find out.
Well, see, I became aware of like why I am funny sometimes. It's like, when I was coaching basketball and I'm yelling at the kids and the crowd's laughing behind me. Like they're literally like I'm putting on a show. But I'm upset. You know what I mean? Like tomorrow's practice is not going to be good for these kids.
What kind of stuff are you yelling at the kids?
I mean, like, are you point shaving? You know what I mean? It's like that kind of.
How old are they?
It was like high school. You know what I mean? I just had a way of saying things that like the crowd would be laughing. Coach Griffin is funny. So then I thought to myself, there was a time when I was like, oh, well, like that's that's funny to people. Like being like emotionally invested in something that really ticked you off and how you're talking about it. People are like, they can relate to that. Even if they can relate to like, oh, that guy is really upset. So that's why they're laughing. So, and I like to be like that in my stand-up when I talk about things. So yeah, in this forum, maybe we might be talking about something that we get and like, I can't believe that that's fucking happened. You know?
I think what's so attractive about that, which is done in anger with you a lot, but it isn't the anger. It's the subtext behind it, which is just a very strong point of view.
Right.
Like, this upsets you that much is funny, not because it's upsetting you, but because how it upsets you, why it upsets you, and
exactly.
how other people would respond to that. I was watching, and I didn't finish it, but last night I was watching Comedians in Cars Getting Coffee. I watched the Eddie Murphy episode, and it's fantastic. But there's like a 40-minute interview with the two of them. Did you watch that?
No, I haven't seen that yet.
And one of the questions that the moderator asked was, why do you think something about making things funny that are small, things that like don't really matter? How could you make something funny that is so ordinary? Mm-hmm. And he said, Jerry Seinfeld said, that it's not ordinary. It's the things that people see as ordinary that we see the thing that is weird about it, right? Mm-hmm. So like coaching, not that necessarily coaching high school is an ordinary thing, but everyone's heard of it. But the way that you do it and the way that you say it.
Well, I think it's like if you intellectualize it, it's just like, okay, I had a long time ago. I had a joke about being designated. I hated being designated driver. So then my joke was like, I don't like being designated driver because it's like taking care of autistic kids at the end of the night. So then part of that. So then somebody would be triggered by that. Might be like, oh, you're making fun of like. I'm saying no, I'm actually not. What I'm saying is, have you been around autistic kids? They're it's like you're just making like you're making these weird correlations. You're making these like weird analogies to something like something heavy to something small. You know what I mean? And that's how that works. What are you doing?
B-roll.
This is B-roll.
But keep talking.
That's weird. And you did it.
Yeah. I'm sorry. But please continue the story about
no, but I'm just saying is like what I'm saying to like about but what you're saying is like maybe sometimes you're not aware of like what people think is funny, about you or what you're doing on stage. And I like to like when I think about stand-up comedy or like these kinds of things, and we've had discussions about this. It's like I like to intellectualize it, like overanalyze it when we're discussing it, because then you can really delve into like why is something funny. Like why are things funny? Like literally, why is something funny? Like in every second, every moment of the thing. Sometimes there's different reasons for that. It could be like something happened in the crowd, or like or like why is our interaction funny sometimes? Is it like because you're going to get under my skin, and you think that's funny to get under my skin and see my reaction to it? Like it's little things like that. Then when you start thinking about your set and your comedy, then you if you can get a hold of what that is, then it doesn't matter what you talk about or what you do because you understand it. And I think that's what having a point of view is, and that's why it takes so long to achieve that, because you just know, like somebody like Brian Regan, that guy knows why he's funny, and so he's the kind of guy. Like if they ask him that same question they asked Seinfeld and Eddie Murphy, I mean, I would love to hear his answer, because that guy can make a he could a toothpick, he can make a toothpick funny for 45 minutes.
That was the first comedy album I ever had, was Brian Regan.
I mean, the guy's brilliant about the minutia of nothing. You know what I mean?
So there's multiple layers of funny. Not the different kinds of funny, but why stuffs are funny.
Right.
They're in categories, and here are some of them that just came to my mind. I'm sure there's more. Mm-hmm.
Wait, hold on. You have to give me the Rubik's Cube now.
The cube?
Yeah.
All right. There's jokes themselves. Eric.
Huh? This is going to drive you crazy. That's what I love about it. This is just driving Rick bananas. Now, can you continue the podcast with that right there like that?
I'm going to solve it real quick.
You can't even do it. Look at you.
It does kind of bother me. Is it going to annoy you if I did do this?
No. I get it. I get your quirk. I know that you have to do that, so it's okay. That's actually amazing to me. What you're doing right now. That's like this is like, it's like a delving into like how your mind works, why it bugs you so much.
Well, just things are supposed to be a certain way.
Now, see, why is that funny?
Because you believe that I feel that way.
No. Well, that might be.
Yeah, because I feel something that you think is unusual, and you believe it, so that's interesting, and that's the answer, and there's no other answer. Yeah. I'm positive of that.
Yeah. Well, I get you. This is actually a more interesting podcast. It's like you do the podcast, you have to solve like 10 Rubik's cubes. What I want to do is like take this. I'm going to come in one night. I'm going to sneak in, and I'm going to remove one of the stickers, and
I'll know. Sometimes with the speed cube, sometimes one of the pieces gets turned, and then once it's mixed up, it's impossible.
Right.
So you have to solve it with the exception of, and you don't know which one is wrong, and then I have to try so many different things to find out that should be this way. And you want to talk about getting hot? All right. So I want to talk about those categories of funny. There's jokes which are there's different types of jokes, but the categories, there's left turns, there's shocking jokes, there's blah 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 blah. Mm-hmm. There's also relationship jokes, which the greatest sitcoms have. That's why Seinfeld's so funny. That's why Friends works. That's why Fresh Prince is so good. It's Eric and Rick together. So when you see this dynamic, even if they're not making a joke, I know how Eric's going to feel. I know how Rick's going to feel. We see that. So there's relationship. And then there's the most intangible of them all, which is my favorite, which is energy, which is the hardest to explain. It's such a feeling. It's you could say something, you could do a joke on stage, and even if you remove all the other factors that are variable, if it was somehow you had the same exact sample, the same exact audience in the same place in the same mood, for some reason sometimes your joke will work and sometimes it won't. It's the energy that you give it, right? So for me, I'm an energy guy. Nothing I do is good if the energy is wrong. I know joke structure so well. I mean, name any joke, I bet you I know it. But who cares? Who cares about some fucking words? You got to fucking be in it.
Well, I disagree with how you described that.
It's a fact. I actually made a T-shirt that says all of that.
God,
that's gonna take me so long to type up.
Yeah, because you need a second T-shirt.
We only sell it in an XXL.
No, I just think because what you call energy is I call like being invested in whatever the joke's about.
That's energy.
Having them. Yeah, I know, but you don't. But
I don't mean energy like energy.
No.
I mean like the frequency you're on and you're feeling.
Yeah, but I mean like but you could do the same joke and have different feelings, and perform it differently, because if you're mad this time,
there's no right or wrong energy.
Yeah.
But that sometimes you do something and just you're not feeling it. They know.
You're all right.
Even if you're doing the same words and the same pauses.
I get it.
It's like watching a good actor.
Very
you look into their eyes.
It's very transparent on stage.
Yeah,
more than we realize.
It's like a close up in a television show or in a movie when you could really see their thoughts. On stage, when people are in the back of the room and you're this big, it's still.
It's not more. It's more than just the face. It's your whole body.
That's what I'm saying. For some reason, on stage, like a close up. They know.
Yeah, they know. Like, oh, he's sick, or
he's nervous.
Something. Yeah, exactly. Something's going on there. He's too. Or like I always say to people, like, don't apologize for things that you say, because the moment you apologize, you're going to make the crowd aware that I'm not supposed to laugh at this.
Steve Martin said, "Never let the audience know you're bombing."
Yeah.
Which I thought was cool, because a lot of times something doesn't work, but it's like playing the piano and playing the wrong note. People don't know what you were. That was actually, I think that's a Miles Davis quote, which was that I don't remember what it was, but it was something about nobody knows what you meant to do. So if you commit to it all,
right,
that's what you meant to do.
Yeah,
but the moment you go, no, oh my God, or your version of that.
Yeah, well, it's not going to be all whatever that was.
Woody Allen coming too soon. I'm sorry. Can't even do a Woody Allen impression. And
I know. Then he needs to get a wet nap because it's like it's dirty.
And I can go get the clear. Yeah, I don't want to get it, but I was going to get you the nap. The nap. I couldn't say wet nap. I'm too lazy to get up. I'm too lazy to say wet nap. I'm not getting up. Oh man. Yeah, but anyway, Sean, thank you so much for.
I know. After saying all that, thank you for
no,
me.
but he's
a great dude.
Yeah, great dude.
I don't know what he gets out of it, so I'm still a little bit like, why do this?
Well, he told me that, and he told me that he just relationships, and he wants.
But at a certain point, that's not going to be enough.
I already feel that I've taken advantage.
I was about to say, I think you've already fucked it up for all of us.
I know. I'm so sorry, man. I'm so sorry. You're like, yeah, man. He was just a nice guy, and he liked the podcast, and he wanted to collaborate, and I said, yeah, you know what? I feel bad. Can I pay you? He said, please, just blah 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 blah. And then I said, okay, but make it blue, and then can we turn this and change the size of this, and can we get the softer shirt? And every time he does it like that.
But by
such
the way,
a nice, cool dude.
I admire that type of meticulousness to certain things. I mean, I think that's like I have a friend of mine very close. He's like my brother, and he's very much like that about things. Where it's like if he's making a playlist on Spotify, it's like he takes so long. But then when that playlist is done, you feel a mood and a tone, and it's like really.
So you're
weird.
saying it works out?
It works out.
He's not doing it for nothing,
right? So I'm saying it's like I see that in you, and so I know that maybe in the middle of it you might feel like, this is too much, or why am I doing this, or it's like, oh man, I'm doing that thing, but like I understand the purpose behind it.
That's nice.
Yeah, because then the end result is like if you're gonna go, okay, I'm okay with this. Then as an observer, you might be like, even if you're like, I don't really like this, but I can appreciate the work around it,
Not like what? Like if the edits are too much or something?
Right, exactly. No, it might be like, I might look at it and be like, damn, this is a lot. When I first saw you doing all this, I was like, this ain't gonna last. This episode 11. Yeah, good luck, Rick. By episode 40, there's gonna be one camera. We'll be sitting next to each other.
Right.
Like you're on my lap,
sharing a microphone. Why didn't you just keep the two mics anyway? Like I'm making it worse. I'm not even saying.
Yeah. So it's like I get that, and it's like, but that's what you need to achieve something great.
When you have a vision for you, but I'm speaking for myself. I guess I'm globalizing. But when I have a vision for something, let me digress for a second. I'm getting into minutia here. Maybe this is annoying, but I want to talk about my point of view. But when I say when I have a vision, it feels like I'm leaving you and others out. But if I say when we or when you,
then
it's
you're
like,
speaking
well,
for people.
Yeah. So what do I say? When I and or others? But it's like, just fucking say whatever.
You know what you just did?
What's that?
You just let us know that you played a bad note.
Well, that's interesting that you bring it up, but I'm not worried about exposing myself on this podcast. I truly am always looking for tools. And when I notice there's something that confuses me, and when I'm confused, it's not just that I don't have an answer, I also then I lose being present. And it's like I'm telling you something, and then it's like, now I'm, and it's like, so the next time I know how to.
Yeah, but it's always going to be different, man. This is like conversations are like jazz, You have just basic.
Everyone
notes.
gets a turn.
Yeah, you know what I mean, right? Everyone's going to get a turn, and everyone understands. I know how to jump in on that. Oh, we're in G. I got it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So that was autistic.
Yeah, maybe a little.
So that was a good example of jazz, because when you said it's like jazz, I mixed the analogy and went to everyone gets a turn. Like your mom's like a doorknob, everyone gets a turn or whatever. Yeah. I just remember that was the end of something, but it still worked. So here's something I never know when to use, but nobody ever questions.
Right?
Small world. When in doubt, I say small world, and people, even if they don't get it, they go like this. Yeah.
Welcome back to Take Your Shoes Off. I'm your host. No, I'm your guest, Erik Griffin. Today's host,
Rick Glassman. So, Erik, you started stand-up at what age?
Oh God,
what were we just talking about? There's something
I don't know. You went on a.
I know, man.
You went on a thing.
Here's what it was. I'll cut back to this. I'll chop all that out. We'll put that up on a special thing. If you
the B-roll.
Yeah.
The best part about Rick's podcast is actually the B-roll. It's all the behind the scenes, like you should do that like a Jackie Chan movie, like at the end of your podcast. That you should do like just ridiculous credits, like the mailman. You had your mailman's name.
The first one I did that,
and then you realize how hard it was, right?
I got enough editing. I don't want to forget. Remind me if I do. When this is done, I want to get some B-roll of us that I could put in for B-roll. and then while we're talking, just have that. Maybe it'd be funny. It's just us fucking. It's just a mural. And we're just fucking each other and it's blurred. And then back. All right, so back to the serious thing. When I have a vision for something, when I could see how something is, that's very precious to me because I don't always have that. Mm-hmm. And to pat myself on the back of something, when I'm able to visualize something, I find that I execute it how I've envisioned it. Whether that's good or not. Right. If it's not good, I envisioned a bad thing.
Right.
But when I can envision something, I believe I have an ability to execute it that way. So when I can envision something, it's precious to me, and I want to try and do that because I can't control when I could see something. And with this podcast, I'm able to see it a certain way. I want it a certain way. Mm-hmm. And that's not even for better or worse. But because I prioritize it so much, it's like, no, it has to be this way. Which I think could get in my way. Because like I have a buddy, shout out to Tommy, who'll put up his Instagram handle here.
And then push it away.
Well, the past few episodes, he's been helping me out. And
how?
Well, I set up everything on. He helps with camera switches and some graphics.
Oh, okay.
But then I get it back and I go over it and I change them and I add them. And it's like, not that what he's doing isn't great. He's doing great. It's just not the way I'm envisioning it.
Okay, let me step in here.
Yeah.
Okay, what you're talking about is like, I don't think there's anything wrong with this, what you're saying right now. I don't think you should judge yourself about being the way you are because it's like watching a Quentin Tarantino film. He has a thing that he does. He has a style. He has a pace. He has things that people don't like, but he still does them because it's his thing. Mm-hmm. It's like a work of art. Right? So like, and when you put this kind of time and meticulousness in it, and then if people look at it later, people that truly appreciate the effort and work, it doesn't matter if they're like, well, I didn't like this, but it's like they can still overall still give it an assessment of like, great work, or this was like, very well done.
I understand what you're saying.
But it wasn't my cup of tea, but that doesn't take away from the execution.
But like you said, how long could it last? I mean, bro, this is a full-time job.
It's a full-time job.
Like I just did one, like I said last week, it was 50 hours, right? Mm-hmm. I finished up Sunday night, great. And it's not like a movie. It's like, now I'm done, let's go on vacation. Now I got to start a new one.
I know. That's what I'm saying. We both need to like. It's like we both need to like figure a way to like.
We need an engine, a production.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah.
Like if we had one guy that like we both are we both pay that's helping us both, or I don't know.
To be honest with you, I wouldn't want to do that to the. I'm gonna take up everything.
But that's the reason why you then do it yourself. I'm just saying that's why you like if you start because have you monetizing yet?
Yeah, but I mean, no.
I know, but listen, it's going to happen. It's fine. You're growing big. It's growing fast. You're going to get to a point where there's going to be a certain amount of money that'll come in from the YouTube ads.
I just want to make enough money to where I could hire somebody to do it in a way where it's not disrespectful to their time. Because I can't ask, I don't want to train somebody and ask something of them where it's just like, I'm already not paying you. Like,
you will be
I'm
able
paying
to.
A little bit, but
no, there's people out here, guys. You're out here watching, and you want to be an intern for Take Your Shoes Off. With
yeah,
Rick.
but
just listen. Yeah, just shut up for a second.
Dirty little fingers.
Yeah, just listen. You're gonna have to. You have to understand his quirks. You have to understand like what you're getting yourself into, and if you're willing to do that, send Rick an email. Send like, hey, I understand that you're a weirdo, and I'm that way too. There might be some like weird editing autistic guy out here, and he's gonna be like, he's gonna come in, and when he comes in, he's gonna like, you have to put his shoes a certain way, and you're gonna be like, oh, we're soulmates, and you guys are gonna spend like 70 hours working on a 10-minute video.
I want somebody who is an editor and knows how to edit. I don't just,
yes,
you know what I mean?
You'll find somebody
I want
like
who's as good or better than me.
No, check this out. That's not what you need. No. I would rather you have like someone with even half that experience, but someone that gets your vision and can work with you to get the end result.
Great. Also, Tommy's great. And maybe,
there you go. Maybe Tommy's the guy.
Maybe when I could give him more money, I feel more comfortable enough saying it has to be done this way.
Yeah.
But he's a stand-up comic, and
oh well, then that's not going to work because he's always going to be like this is his second. it's not what he really thinks is important.
Yeah, well, then if he doesn't think this is important, he ends up leaving. Still, check out Tommy Wakefield's Instagram handle is, I don't know what it is, so I can't. It's probably Tommy Wakefield.
It's there. It's right on the screen right now, guys.
Yeah, and also I don't need, for the audio only listeners, you shouldn't know it because he doesn't do anything for that. I'll put up a picture of him here. I'm going to text him and say, send me the ugliest picture of you have.
And then I'll put it up instead of out. Just giving you more work.
Yeah, but...
and then I pull his picture.
Tommy, will you make sure you edit this? But make sure that you do it that when the hand comes in is when it first enters the screen and it pushes like a dance. Oof, man. Erik, I like your podcast so much, and I've listened to 7 of them. Not, but
I get it. Can't listen to all of them.
And I've listened to a little bit of a lot of them.
Oh, I got you.
But I started listening to yours because I've been doing podcasts for 5 years.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
I never posted them.
Oh, wow.
I did multiple podcasts with Blake Griffin. I did a few with
That's right. I remember you were. That is. Oh, I remember that. I meant to ask you, like, whatever happened to your Blake Griffin podcast?
I've talked about another podcast, so I don't know if it's worth talking about more. And this is going to come out after the Blake. Blake comes out. The Blake one just came out.
Yeah.
But
Neil Brennan beat you to the punch, though.
How so?
He was on Neil's podcast and he already put it out.
When?
I don't know, because he's been on Instagram and stuff. Isn't that frustrating?
No, I don't give a shit.
No, I do give a shit about that kind of stuff, because I had Dane Cook, on my podcast, right? And I had been talking to this guy for months. Dude, you gotta do podcast, Dane. This is the thing, man. You gotta do them. And he was like, just I'm not gonna do it, whatever. He finally does it. Okay. We have this great interview. 3 days later, he's on Theo's podcast. I was like, can I get a little traction? Can I get a whole week, buddy?
Yeah, I understand what you're saying.
But I'm saying for you and your podcast, that would have been a great to be like, here's Blake Griffin, the first, time,
Yeah, who gives a shit?
And you had Blake Griffin here?
So Blake Griffin came here the first time we did it, and then I went to his house a couple of times, and then I did what a friend of mine and I have referred to as, I have this, where people like me so much, and then inevitably at some point they're done with me. Yeah. And he called it the Cinderella effect, where I'm this beautiful princess that everyone wants to be around, but at midnight strikes and I become this Jewish autistic pumpkin, and it's like, what is he doing here in the castle?
Yeah, I get it.
So that happened with Blake, and then we stopped.
Yeah, well,
and then everything's good again. I just got a little competitive with him, and then he's like, I guess I don't really know this guy, and
you got competitive with him.
Yeah,
but he's a spoiled athlete.
No, he's not. Don't you say that.
That's been told his whole life that he's the greatest thing ever.
He was not. He was not. It's truly, I'm responsible for keeping my side of the street clean, and I went in and I have there's a pro and a con to this, but I am the same with everybody.
Yeah,
whether we're best friends or I just met you, whether you're a stupid stand-up comedian like you or an all-star like Blake, you know what I mean? And I'm very familiar with people.
A stupid stand-up comedian.
I'm sorry, just like a funny enough stand-up comic.
Oh, funny enough.
I'm sorry, just like
Try again. Keep going.
A guy hasn't quite figured it out yet. You know what I mean? You understand what I'm saying?
So now you keep saying them, and then we just...
a guy that looks like a potato head that now has a podcast.
And another one?
A guy who sits on a toilet seat without putting toilet paper down.
And another one?
A really funny guy like you.
There it is. We found it.
And it doesn't matter. I don't need to talk about it. I've talked about it before, and it was...
No, I totally understand.
But like I said, I don't know how I'm being received, and I went in and I became aggressive in a character that he didn't know was a character, and it was just, I turned him off, and I understand.
Also, you didn't get on him for not getting... So wait, I love this.
Okay.
So you do bits with Blake Griffin, and you piss him off, and then you're taking responsibility for that. But when I get pissed off about bits, all of a sudden it's my fault.
I can explain. Well, first of all, it's not about fault. That's just the way you don't like hilarious stuff that I do. But with that, but the thing is, it's a bit.
Yeah. Okay.
And you're not liking it. He didn't know it was. He thought I was.
Sometimes I don't know it's a bit either.
I almost never do.
Well,
that's fair.
What I'm focusing on of something that you said is how you say you treat everybody the same, and that's to me the mistake right there. You know, in the same way, like when you go to, you don't act a certain way at every place that you go, you know, but I feel like you do.
I'm learning that
I feel like you'd be at a funeral and like with the same energy as you would be at like a, at a wedding
it's
or
not,
at a,
it's not the same. I'm the same energy everywhere. It's that I'm unaffected by my relationship with the person opposite me.
Okay.
And there's a lot of benefit to that. And also a lot of times it's and I talked about this on the Dax episode. It's sometimes you have to ease your way into a new group.
Yeah, I get
and
that.
I never had that tool of easing in. I would come in and be like, when are we going to Vegas?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Not at a funeral, but at a wedding.
I know what you're saying.
So anyway, blah, 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 blah.
You just coming into the gym trying to pick teams right away. Okay, I got first pick. Red shirt, you on my team.
Yeah, right. And I know I could hoop, but they don't care.
Yeah.
They just want to have a good time. And also
Right.
they're threatened by the way I hoop. And which is another thing that's weird.
No, but it's interesting thing is like that's an interesting energy place to be at. It's like, you know, it'd be like, you know, if you're coming to like a improv class for the first time and you're just like, I got these great ideas, but realizing that no, ease your way into that.
And an improv class, I feel like that's the one place where you don't need to do that.
Not if like you're coming and you can't just come in and take over things. You
I
know
would
what I
love
mean?
to play. I would love to be an improv teacher where people don't know that I'm doing like hidden camera style shit. You know, I want to teach a comedy class, is
Yeah.
what I'm saying, and record it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so then I went to. So then the one with Blake, I actually it's the first and only one so far where I went to his. I didn't do it in my living room. I did it in his,
Which makes sense.
and it was great too. He's so fucking cool.
Yeah, he's a cool dude. He's funny, you know.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, I think that this move to Detroit and like everything that's happened in the last 3 or 4 years with everything that's happened in his life, you know, I think that he's just getting to a certain place. He's just maturing. You know what I mean?
People don't maybe not know this about you. You're a huge Clippers fan too,
Yeah,
and
big fan.
you've taken me to some games. You've also given me tickets when you weren't able to go because you have season tickets. Nice ones too. The ones where the waiter comes over and everything's free and you get to go in the back. And
Well, it's not free, but yeah.
I'm saying it's included in the price of the ticket. So when you give it to me, I got the parking pass. To be honest with you, I watch less of the game when I'm on the floor with your tickets because I'm just looking at the menu and eating the dogs over the back.
I know, it's just fun. It was just a fun experience.
Yeah, it's so cool.
Yeah.
And
I regret, like, we had 4 tickets and then we went down to 2 because we were missing so many games.
You and Adam.
Yeah, we just were missing games. And so now we're just down to 2. Now it's like,
And now you can't take a guest, huh?
Yeah, but
And now the Clippers are
now it's like those seats are gone. Like everybody, it's gonna be like it's gonna be a nightmare at the game now, where people are just like, "Oh, I've always been a fan." And it's gonna be like, "Oh, really?"
Yeah, when people want to act like they've had the merchandise for a while.
Yeah.
That's why you got to take your shoes off shirts now before the podcast gets big.
Cut to people sitting here with season tickets to take your shoes off.
I've thought about. I have a lot of fun like gags I want to do for the video of this, and I thought it might be fun to like have a live studio audience. Have like, but I'm not going to do this because I can't have strangers in my
I was
house.
about to say that's the
But
whole.
have
because the
two,
whole
2 or 3 seats right there.
I love it.
You know what I mean?
But because cut to you like during the podcast, just looking at
Yeah.
the podcast will be like, so anyway, we just hey, can you not touch that?
I have a 1-bedroom apartment. I'd still put everything in my safe. I have a safe. I have $9. I have a safe. When I have a girl come over that I don't know,
Right.
very well, very well. No joke.
Yeah, he doesn't mean like he just put some. He just wakes up on his couch like, where am I? No, it's not like that.
No, I made sure I vet her. I make sure her hands are washed. No joke. Before they get here, I put my checkbooks and my wallet in my safe in case she sleeps over and she gets out of my bed and goes into my desk.
Bro, you laugh, but that's a thing.
Then I'm willing to have a girl sleep over who I think would steal from me. Also,
First of all, your need to like sleep with this girl is already overpowered your common sense that you should be getting to know someone before they're in your life intimately like that anyway. But we just don't operate like that.
No, I literally mean sleep. I'm not having sex with the girl until I don't have to put my wallet into the safe, and I'm not even joking.
Okay,
But I'll sleep with her, and I'll let her blow me, and I'll eat her out.
Cut to.
Come back. Cut to that B-roll. Cut to that B-roll of us fucking.
Yeah, but she, but like, I don't know. That's actually a funny thing. That sounds like the name of a book.
What?
Until I can put my wallet in the safe.
Yeah.
Until I don't have to put my wallet in the safe.
Yeah, I'm not gonna fuck you until I go to sleep with my wallet on the desk.
Yeah, open. You know what I mean?
Well, that's a girlfriend.
That's all. Tone it down. You know that's Miss Glassman.
in Beauty and the Beast, the rose that is in the glass, and as the petals fall, that's the time he has.
Yeah.
You know that by the placement of my wallet and when it becomes open is how serious I am with a girl. And by the way, this is a metaphor. I don't have anything in there. No. All my money is in Bitcoin and Magic the Gathering cards and fucking comic books. You know,
Bitcoin coming back.
Oh, we got to talk about that.
Yeah, we never talk about that. Yeah, so Rick, I remember where was I?
It was Chicago. So I was going home for Thanksgiving 2 years ago, and there was a layover in Chicago, and the weather was so bad that I had to stay overnight. And I hit you up, and because you were doing a show at Zany's, and you let me do a guest spot.
Yeah.
Literally from the airport, got to Zany's, suitcase in the green room, went on stage. I mean, the timing was perfect. I went on stage in my sweatpants, and
his travel gear,
and which I guess is just what it is anyway. But and then, destroyed for 10 minutes. And then it was cool, man. That was fun. That was so fun. First of all, just to show up in a random city and to have been doing comedy long enough and to know enough people to have a good friend of mine in that city and says, yeah, come over, do a set. It just felt like it felt like, even though I'm doing a guest spot, not getting paid, and it's not my show, it felt like I earned it. Still, does that make sense?
I know exactly what you're saying. I know exactly what you're saying, and you should feel like that because that's basically how the business works anyway. There is a little bit of like, the brotherhood of like people that, you get to a certain level where people are like, oh yeah, I'll vouch for that guy. That's what you really want to get to.
And I don't think there's more than 10 people, and we're friends, when you say friend, enough, and you follow and you lunch and with probably 100, at least 50 comics out here.
Yeah.
I don't think there's more than 10 that would have said yes. Yeah. I think I think I scare people. I'm a little too weird.
Maybe, but like I wasn't. By the way,
I know you weren't.
That's not something I even cared about or wasn't even thinking about. I didn't care what you did on stage or what was going to happen.
I know.
So it was just more about like, oh, this is my friend who's in town,
and that's a safe place for me. I remember this was a few years ago. I texted Chris D'Elia, and he was doing a spot in Cleveland. I don't remember where it was, and by the way, I want to make sure that my intentions are clear on this. I really appreciated this response from him. I didn't think it was mean at all, because as I talked about in your podcast, to me, nice is being honest, direct, and this is what it is. So I understand, and I could choose what to do with this information. But I wanted to open for him because I'm going to be home, or I don't remember, maybe it was an excuse to go home, whatever it was. And he said, "Listen, man," and it was very nice. He said, "Listen, man, sometimes I've seen you kill. It's close to genius, and I'm only saying this part because I was like, I want people to know that he said that. But the truth of it, but what he said was." He said, but the truth is, you're too, what's the word? Like, inconsistent. And I don't remember exactly what it was, but what I took from him is basically, it's a liability. I don't want to, if it doesn't work, then my audience, you fucked up my audience for me, for my show. And he wrote that, and I wrote back, I said, yeah, I understand.
Yeah.
And that's something, a hard situation that I find myself in when doing something. Now, doing a 10-minute guest spot is a little different than featuring for 25 minutes or something, which you've also had me doing, thank you.
Yeah.
But something I've realized is when it's not my show, I do have a different sense of responsibility because I take huge swings. And when you're in LA and it's a 15-minute set and there's 10 comics, who cares? And when it's my show and I bomb, it's my reputation. But when I'm going in for somebody else and I go up there and I do something that's weird, I have a responsibility to that person, and it makes me not want to feature for people.
I get it.
But sucks because I want to feature for people.
No, I get it. Well, it's the success of the podcast. Maybe you just start doing your own shows, your own little weird shows.
I stand up so hard, man.
Yeah.
You're so good at it.
I don't think stand up is hard. I just think that you look at it as hard because like maybe I'm not speaking for you, but I'm saying my impression that I get from you is talking to you for so many.
Speak for me.
No, I got a mustache.
Okay.
No, but I just think that sometimes I think that you think that stand up is supposed to be like, maybe it's like it's supposed to be a certain way. And then like if you're not doing that a certain way, that it's not working. But if it's your own thing, it's gonna.
Could you say that differently?
Well, I feel like when you say stand up is hard, that I think that it's because you have like, say, a blueprint of what you think stand up is supposed to be, and then in trying to achieve that is hard.
Oh, I understand what you're saying. Maybe it's still the same outcome, but I am so aware that I have no idea what stand up is.
Right, and what I'm saying to you, not to cut you off, but what I'm saying to you is that if you're doing your own show, stand up is the show that you're doing.
Yeah.
It's just like Gallagher or
Cut to me on stage killing with smashing watermelons, killing the hair.
You know what I mean? No, not just that. I don't mean. I mean even someone like Brian Regan, who is like clean, squeaky clean comic. That's a specialty. There's so many different examples of people doing. It's just their own thing. So it's like what I'm saying is like when it's your show, when it's the Rick Glassman show, they're going to see that.
And I apologize.
So it's not going to be about like, well, this is like what the problem with like doing like shows with a bunch of people, let's say. So then there's like, for instance, at the Comedy Store, let's say. So there's 15 people going up and it's pretty much all in the same range of type of stand-up comedy. And then you come on and it's way over here, So
where it's best
for you.
Oh.
So then therefore you might feel like, oh man, I'm not doing what these people are doing.
I don't worry. No, I love what I do. I love that. And I love having a few people before me that kind of sets the expectation so I could then manipulate it and play with it. The problem is it's just like I was saying, if I don't feel funny, it's hard to rest on my act. If I don't have the energy,
maybe I get what you're saying, but that's just about being professional, man.
Yes, I know, and that's
just being professional.
And with my acting work, I don't feel the same way about it.
No, but I just feel like now once you take away having other comics on the lineup, so you can like manipulate. No, you need to just be doing a show.
Yeah,
then you'll really see.
I've done my own headlining shows maybe 10 times on the road.
But when people really know who you are, when people are like, oh, I want to go see the Rick Glassman experience, then it's going to be like, that's going to be when you're going to shine in a way that you didn't think you could.
That's nice. That's nice if that's true, and that's really sweet to say.
Yeah, so I think that you just let that happen. Oh my God, that would have been like the podcast has stopped. A crew comes in with the
podcast is still stopping. 2 drops, and I.
Oh man, Rick spilled something, and it's like this, like the whole apartment shuts down. It's like Iron Man, where you're just
people with a mask.
Yeah. It's like Outbreak right now. Oh.
All right. Put this on.
All right, there we go. Okay.
And we're back. So you were saying just like the Rick Glassman show.
Yeah, I just think if like, you're going to start to be able to, it'll be at little weird spots. I just think that when you can control the whole element in the way that you control this podcast, so you have a podcast format and you decided that you want to do this with the podcast format and it's your thing, right? So then when you're able to have a show at some like, it's a little 100-seater and you're like, okay, I'm going to come out like this. I want this to happen. I want that. That's how you're going to be.
Yeah, I've been writing.
You're going to be like that, Ray. I already know this.
It's my one-man show, basically.
Yes. And then, but the thing is like when people come, they're going to come for that. People come more than once. Oh, it's going to be different every time. Or, wait till this smoke comes out of this thing. Or like, the cleaning lady comes out and there's going to be like the mustaches and, there's going to be different lighting and then the puppets. You know what I mean?
Right.
And, this is what I'm saying, though. This is part of the Rick Glassman experience. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. Why is that? Why is your thing so angry?
Yeah, I make him do a lot.
Yeah.
Does he look angry?
You did. Now cut to. Can I hold it now?
Wash your hands.
Oh, you have a thing. That's hilarious.
Yeah. So after a show, people always want to see my. So what I do now is after the show, even if I'm staying at the venue for a bit, I put the puppet away, like in the bag, and I don't have it. I don't hold it with me because people always ask, "Can I touch it? Can I?"
You should make. What you should do is get a second one, and it's the germ one.
They're thousands of dollars.
Well, you're gonna, once the money starts rolling in.
I'm not gonna be. I need an editor. I'm not buying. So this puppet was made on an episode of Undateable. They made it for all of us.
You can just get another one that's not $1,000. Like, okay, guys, we're putting it out there. Puppet makers.
No, I'm just.
Somebody, can we just? We want a duplicate of Rick's puppet. That's one that people can touch.
But why? What does that offer me? Just no. I just say no.
No, because it makes people feel good, Rick.
Does it?
Yeah.
You want to touch it?
No, I'm fine.
Exactly.
I get your no. It's because of your your quirkiness,
dude. If I make all the edits that I'm supposed to do for this podcast so far, we're at about 15 minutes.
So stupid. And of course, the 12 minutes of credits.
Sure, the opening credits of if all like the cleaning people and all the cuts, if they all had their own, as if they were different actors.
Yeah. But it's you, the cleaning person played by Rick Glassman.
Yeah, people
mustache guy, assistant to the mustache guy,
like my version of the clumps.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
And that thing, that interview I told you about, the Q&A with Seinfeld and Eddie Murphy. She asked, and I pressed pause at this point, and I haven't continued since. But she asked, "So, who would you say? Which clump are you like the most?" And he's like, "I'm not like any of the clumps." what a silly question. So I want to check the rest of that out. So shout out to Comedians in Cars Getting Coffee.
Oh man,
we'll put up a link here.
Yeah, what a. And he's talking about coming back and doing stand up.
I know. I think
tremendous.
he already agreed to it.
3
specials with Netflix.
I know, but see, I don't care about that. What I care about is the work that he's going to put in.
Seeing him at the Comedy Store?
Yeah. Can you I can't wait to get bumped by Eddie Murphy.
Are you a big Eddie Murphy fan?
Yes, it's the reason why I'm doing stand-up.
Is he your number one?
Yes.
Really?
I want a moment where I want to go, Jeff, who's next? And he's like, EM. And I'm going to be like, what? It's going to be great.
And they'll say EM because he doesn't want to reveal to the audience.
Right.
What have you had any experience with any of your idols, or at least a comedy legend, that any interaction that you've had that's been positive to you?
Yeah, I remember Martin Lawrence was on stage, because Martin Lawrence, the first comedy album I ever bought, second comedy album I ever bought was Talking Shit. Mm-hmm. It was his album. I think it was the first one, because I bought that one. Then I bought Robin Harris, Bebe's Kids. That was such a funny.
I remember the movie Bebe's Kids. Who's Robin Harris?
Robin Harris. He was just brilliant. He died.
Did he create the movie?
Yeah, it's his bit.
Oh, so he did a bit, and then the movie came after.
Yes. It was just iconic. It was his iconic bit. But he was just this funny, great black comic that just went for it all the time, and he just was he's just a legend amongst that community.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But anyways, so Martin's in an OR, and I was next. And he's who's next? He don't know me. You know what I mean? You know how they do that? They're like, one time Louis C.K. brought me up as they said my name, and he goes, Erik Clifford Cliffklin. He said some weird version of Griffin, because he didn't really hear and didn't really take.
That's the reason you don't like.
Didn't take the time. Oh yeah, yeah. All this other shit. No, you get my name right, CK. So then but anyway, so Martin Lawrence, he brings me up, and I said that to him. I said, hey man, I said, well, Talking Shit's the first album I ever bought. He was like, my man.
Man, that's such a rich answer.
Yeah, my man. You know what I mean? I know, but I was like, whatever. It is what it is. I guess my best interaction ever at the Comedy Store with a legend was with Chris Rock. I got off stage, and I went and I'm talking with Fahim and this other guy. They're like this with me. We're in the outside, and then Chris Rock comes out the OR. He looks around, he sees me, and he beelines towards me, and he was like, oh man, you was really funny. He was giving me all this you were funny, the fingers, everything, you know what I mean? And then he was asking, who are you? I don't know who you are, this kind of shit. And I was like, and then for him, he didn't even acknowledge them. And they're just having this moment. And then he walks away, and then I look at Fahim and him, and I'm like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? It was just like one of those, like, I was like, I could have quit comedy. I was just like, that's it. Like all these fuckers here just place to like talk shit or whatever they say.
Yeah.
Here's somebody that they admire, a legend.
Yeah.
It came over to tell me that he thought I was funny. So it was like a really like great moment.
That's just very cool.
You know what I mean?
I had a moment that I want to share, but I almost feels like it might water both of us down.
Why is that?
Because it's the Chris Rock story. It's for real. But I'm going to tell it.
Okay.
I had just broken up with a girlfriend, and I was real upset.
Did she break up with you?
I've never broken up with anybody.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Even if I wanted to, I wait.
Hilarious. Now you cut to like now you have to do an edit of you like you getting the calls every time.
I've already posted them.
Like 10 of them.
I have actual video record of every time I was broken up with. I tell somebody before I start dating them, all I ask is when you break up with me, let me film it. I think I might do a podcast in 12 years.
So you broke up with this girl.
Yeah.
She breaks up with you.
And I had a day. I remember I was at I was at my therapist's, and by the side she has the tissue box, and I'm crying.
Yeah.
So and as I'm pulling it out, there's no tissues in there. It's just pieces of toilet paper. Uh-huh. And I go, "You putting toilet paper in the tissue box?" Being funny, like cutting tension. And she was like, I'm sorry. I was just and normally, and then I realized this is my problem. I'm upsetting the therapist right now, right? That was earlier that day. So I'm just I'm all over myself. So I go up on...
You're going to break up with me too.
So I'm on stage, and I don't even remember what I said, but it was all just like these things of... This was one of the first times that I, in this pocket of my stand-up years, where I was just talking, And it felt good. I was received well. And then Chris Rock went up after me. Uh-huh. And we walked by, and it wasn't like we were next to each other where it was to force eye contact. It was kind of not as far as going out of the way as you, but he had to go around someone else to come tap me on his way to come up. And he looked at me and goes, "Yo, so good, man. Keep doing that." And he stressed that as if he knew I normally don't do that. That's how I felt that he recognized,
Yeah.
And then less than a month later, I'm in the OR, or that was the OR. I'm in the main room at the Comedy Store, and I did a set where I don't need to tell you what I did, but it was a specific set.
You're back to normal.
Well, it was. There is no. Everything is its own specific thing.
No, you're back to normal.
Well, there was a set that I did once at the time. I was in the Comedy Store, the main room, and I did a set, some charity show, and I used to do this joke about how I realized that why are all moms fat? Just all moms over 50 are fat. It's just what it is. Moms are fat. And it's something about how like the only way to get like the best diet for a mom is to get a divorce or something like that, right? And it didn't work well. And then I leaned.
I don't know why it didn't work well, because even just how you just described it, that's a funny regular like comedian premise. But how did you ruin it?
Oh, you're being sincere?
Yeah.
You don't know why? It wasn't that they booed me. It just I didn't get what I don't know. Maybe the whole set wasn't going.
Yeah.
Also, it was some charity for something with women and blah blah blah.
Oh, got it.
And it wasn't that it didn't go well. It didn't.
There's a lot of women over 50 in there who are moms who are, yeah.
I expected the audience to look to the left and right and go, well, yeah. I do love my husband though. Yeah. But I remember I leaned in and I ended up talking about my mom and talking about how this was years ago, and I was upset that like she gets the salad, but she gets it with the ranch, and it's like, Mom, we got to be better with certain stuff. And I ended up being, how sometimes you prioritize, you got to find something, so you kind of lean in more than what you should have. Like I've said, I would literally eat a piece of shit on stage if I was bombing and I thought it would get a laugh. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like the things you'll do. And I did something that my instincts led me into something wrong, and I was just kind of, in a way, being mean to my mom, kind of. And I remember right after the set, I just felt so bad. Like, So then the next time I was in the main room, I talked about the last time I was here. I was so fucking shitty, and I think I was kind of disrespectful to my mom. And like the one fan I have,
right?
Like, the one person who's like everything. I'm gonna master this joke and do my special and be like, watch this, Mom. So something like that. And then I'm in the back, and then Chappelle was there, but he decided to not go up because the room, there's nobody in there anymore at that point, basically. Right. So he crosses by and he passes me, right by the belly room entrance.
Yeah.
He passes me with his entourage. And then like 4 seconds later, he comes back in and he taps me on the shoulder and he just says, "Hey man, that was really, really, really funny stuff. I go, and I said it just like it was you saying it to me. Thank you so much, man. That's all. Thank you. Right. And he left. And then I went,
I know. Like,
and then for the next 15 minutes, like I stayed there for a little bit cold. And then I was like, I wanted to find him again and not say anything to him. Like I walked by and he was in the parking lot, and I walked by slowly because I wanted to see if he would look where we could make eye contact that would solidify he could see me in another environment so he'd remember me longer.
Right.
You know, I couldn't really take the compliment as cool as I wanted to. But those are the two moments that happened in a month of each other.
You know what's hilarious? That same day, after Chris Rock, he went back in because he was going up, whatever. I did the same thing. He was in the parking lot, and I
trying to make eye contact
as if I didn't exist it. And I was like, okay, we're back.
I feel like you told me this.
I never forget that. That I was like, because he's just a really socially awkward guy too, though. He really is the
funniest people
awkward dude. He's a really awkward dude. So, but it was like, but you know, it's like you live for those like weird moments. Like,
yeah, you had this moment where you're a king, and then he looks at you and he throws you the keys.
Yeah, yeah. Put this in a. And my ass would have been like, which one is it?
Yeah, and he goes,
is it the Chevy?
Know.
Yeah,
it's not the Chevy. Looks for a name tag, doesn't see it, and says Mark.
Oh man.
Yeah, but you know, validation is something that's a dangerous place to look and to seek for because it's so unsustainable. The good stuff doesn't last. The bad stuff can make you feel bad, and you really have to have it with yourself. But it's important, I believe, to take the wins where you can. Yeah, and when you have something like that, this was years ago, and I've never forgot. I remember the smell. You know,
I agree.
And those type of moments are powerful.
But then it was like I had Tony Rock on the podcast, you know, his brother, and so like I randomly. Oh, so here's another. So I went on an Instagram. Okay, it was Chris Rock's birthday. Okay?
Happy birthday to Chris Rock, by the way.
That was okay.
We don't know when I'm posting this.
Yeah, right. Hilarious. So I went to his Instagram to be like, I'm gonna be like, let me just say happy birthday.
Sure.
You know what I mean? He was following me.
Ooh.
And I wasn't following him.
Still following you? Is he following you?
Yeah. So I was like, so I said, oh shit. I was like, so I took that as a victory. You know what I mean?
Hell yeah.
So then I sent him a message, happy birthday.
Did you follow him though?
Yeah, I followed him. Then I saw the scene. You know what I mean?
Damn, that's cool. He follows 849 people and follows you.
You know, so I saw the scene, you know, and then he got back to me, thanks, man. And I was like, oh shit. So then when, you know what I mean? I don't know what that means. I was like, I'm gonna be in a movie. It's like so stupid where your mind goes. So then like,
I'm gonna be in a movie.
Yeah. So then his brother's on the podcast. I say, hey, your brother was really funny. It was like, whatever. And he was like, he got back to me. He was like, yeah, funniest comic in the family is Tony. You know what I mean? So then I said, let me take a shot, right? So I said, hey, you know, maybe this is out of line to ask this, or maybe it's out of line not to ask, but it would be great if you come on the podcast, you know? He don't, nothing.
Stays unseen?
Seen. But then 2 days later, he wrote me back. Could happen.
Cool.
Oh no, he actually told me, he said, I'm out of town. Maybe I'll be back in a month. But it could, something like that could happen. But then I was talking to Neil Brennan about it, and Neil Brennan was like, nah, it's not going to happen. That's why he said that, like that. But I was like, I didn't care. Because to me, it was like, I'm DMing with Chris Rock.
Yeah, that's cool.
You know, I'm having a cool interaction.
I'll bring the watch on that crossover episode.
You know what I mean? Oh, exactly. Oh, yeah. Like, how did you even know? I've been waiting. You're just waiting outside to see my guests. Finally.
Yeah.
So it's just one of those fun things, man. So like occasionally, you know, if I say something, whatever, you know what I mean? Like it's funny that I know every interaction because like another time, okay, he had blonde hair in his thing.
Who?
Chris Rock, and he said, "Oh, I'm filming a movie," and I wrote in his DMs, I said, "Thank God," you know, because it was in his story.
Sure.
So I
give him a little burn.
Yeah, and then he hearted that.
you know. 10th grade.
I know, man.
10th grade, you know?
So I was like, yeah. You know, so funny things like that, man. But, you know, people love that kind of stuff, you know. When those kind of guys are taking the time at the store just to say, like, hey, I thought that was funny or whatever they're going to say, I just think that's like it's great moments.
One of my favorite stuff on Instagram is seeing the superstar athletes to the kids.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
yeah,
like how much a simple interaction, how much it literally affects life. Like you'll remember that Chris Rock came up to you forever.
Yeah, I know.
And like when you see Giannis, like some girl like drew like he's at some booth and signing some stuff or whatever.
Yeah.
Which I don't know why he's at a booth like he was in an episode of 2 episodes of Stranger Things or something.
Yeah.
But people are coming and signing autographs and that's it. And then one girl comes over and gives him this like notebook of like 10 drawings she made of him.
Right.
And he gets up and it's just how good they are. He gets up and he goes around the table and he hugs her and she's now crying and they take a picture together and just like.
Yeah, it's amazing.
He spent 20 seconds with her and she spent, who knows how long drawing all these things. And it's just, that shit makes me cry so much. Or when one of the athletes gives shoes to some guy that has like one leg or something and it's like, give him one shoe,
Throw the other one in.
Yeah. But
no, but when you get like, sometimes I get these messages from people and they'll be like, it's just that they'll say like, you're probably never going to see this, man.
Yeah, who do you think I am?
That's what I say, it's like.
I check this every 5 minutes.
Yeah, this is my one message today. Like, you know what I mean? It's so like,
I can't believe, this is my first time getting a response from a famous person. I go, your place is bigger than mine.
Yeah. It's like, it's so, but like people, whatever you've done, they connect with it or whatever it is like that, so it's like, like Workaholics people love that kind of stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So they'll just be like, oh my God, I can't believe, and I just go, that's why I take the time to be like, I'll heart, just whatever message. Okay,
Remember Dane Cook said that when he was in the MySpace days, he messaged almost everybody back for hours and hours a day.
Yeah, well, it paid off for him. Now he's sitting in a, $8 million mansion, so good for him.
Cut to.
I know. It's us outside. He comes out his driveway though and he's like, Eric, what are you guys doing here?
He didn't respond to mine. I first found out about Dane Cook in college when multiple people within like a month, it must have been right after an album came out, multiple people said, I sound just like Dane Cook. I didn't know who it was.
Yeah, I've said that to you in the past. You have a thing, that's just a timbre of your voice that sound the same.
So when I looked him up, and then I was like, oh, I love this guy. Maybe because I saw myself. But I remember somebody was talking shit to me on the basketball court once and said, Dane Cook, motherfucker, or something like that. And that's when I'm like, I got to see who this Dane Cook guy is, All right, man. Well, I think we could wrap it up.
I think so.
Right? Anything else you want to talk about?
Not really.
We still got to shoot our B-roll.
Oh, my God.
So I'll get the costumes.
We're here like 6 hours. That'd be hilarious if that's the part that people that come to your podcast don't realize.
Yeah.
Like, oh, great conversation. You're like, oh, you're...
Wait, no, we're done now. Just real quick. We just have... I asked everyone their sizes before they come over.
There's a Colonel Sanders outfit in there. Can you please put that on?
Something about that outfit just was racist. Whether you're white or black, I feel like nobody could do that.
And we'll continue this conversation on the next episode of Riffin with Griffin.
So I do have a question for you. So I just did an episode with Dax, and I did a few images, photoshopping our faces on different things, and
right.
Photoshopped _AF made some awesome pictures. So shout out to Photoshop.
Oh yeah, that guy's great.
Yeah, he's amazing.
Yeah.
So there's a couple of them there was one where I wanted to do, because Dax was talking about work ethic and the difference between Shaq and Kobe wanted to be the greatest and what the cost of that is. And Kobe had alienated himself and just, needed to be the best at this and wasn't as happy as Shaq, who was having a good time. And Dax I wanted to be Shaq. So he ended up making this picture. I'll put it up here. It's great, hilarious. But that was the second version. The first version was this. And I want to know, what's the rule with blackface if it's photoshopped? Because when you have a white face, it's weird. It's a black body with a white face. It's like a bodybuilder,
I mean, it is what it is. People get it.
Right? Could I have posted that? I didn't. I feel like it was so funny that I wanted to post it, but I'm like, I'll wait until I have a black comic on so I could ask him, or black guest. And you're, enough.
Enough, yeah. I think that's fine.
I mean, the more I look at it, though, dude.
I know.
And it's dangerous. Is it offensive? Is it going to make it look like Dax put on blackface? Is it going to make it look like...
No, it's obviously, clearly it's going to be the Photoshop guy's
credit, right? You
right
can't
there.
have a white face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Black arms.
Yeah, unless so here's what we're going to do. Photoshop, but I'm going to need you to make his arms white. Just, here's white Shaq.
That's racist.
No, not that the white's better. Not that the white's better.
Can you make Shaq white?
Yeah, with Dax's face. All right, well, this was fun. So, check out Riffin with Griffin.
Yeah.
And look in the camera and give them your website if you want to do that.
Yeah, erikgriffin.com. ERIK Griffin.com.
How come you spelt the easy one but didn't spell the one that's confusing? Griffin, you don't know if it's I-N or E-N.
Griffin. Erik Griffin.
All right, dude. Well, before we get out of here,
this is like the Lord of the Rings ending. Like,
yeah, I know.
Like how many fucking endings?
Just endings are so tough for me, man. Like I'm the king of the missing the dismount, bro.
Should I just break up with you, or should I call your cell phone and be like,
I don't know. Just
Rick, we're ending the podcast.
All right, that's another episode of Take Your Shoes Off with special guest Erik Griffin. Erik, thank you so much for coming on by.
Uh-huh.
Now let's do the B-roll of. Should I bend you over, or you bend me over?
Thank you so much, everyone, for. Good night, everybody.
Scoot.
What do you guys think? Was that funny? Was that worth it? Just I'll have you stand right there. Okay. And just. I need like 8 seconds.
Not gonna be happy about it.
Once you start
not
doing
gonna be
it,
happy. Nope.
just laugh. Come on. There you go. Now use it. Use it. Oh! Don't fuck me. Don't fuck me. Oh, fuck me. Don't fuck me. All right, Erik. Thanks for coming on by.
So stupid.
Oh yeah. Skittle